Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality. Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Up in the sky, look, it's a bird, it's a plane.
It's a podcast.
Race a high-powered bullet to the target. With tremendous weight, bend solid steel in his bare hands, as though it were...
Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of It's a Podcast. You guys know me, I'm Chris, and today I'm actually joined with my good friend Brant.
Hey guys, what's up?
And Brant's going to be co-hosting with me throughout the show. It's been one hectic week at work. It's been a hectic... I can't even talk. That's how hectic it's been. It's been a hectic schedule all around. So I basically begged Brant, instead of just being on for the rundown, to be on for the entire show, because without him, I'm going to fall asleep on you mid-recording. So Brant's going to be keeping me up. And also, it definitely works out for Brant, too, because Brant missed out on the live show. And right. This is going to be Brant's way of discussing all the stuff we talked about on the Comic Frontline live show. I did hold back on a lot of my opinions because I wanted to share it with you guys in extent. And now I have Brant here, so we'll have a discussion about it also. Some topics will be on Zone 4 this week, so some topics I'll talk a little bit more and Brant will be grazing on, because those are going to be things on Zone 4. Speaking of Zone 4, there is no Zone 4 segment this week due to scheduling once again, but there will be one next week. That one's already in the making. Brant will talk more about that in a moment. And... for those of you that are going to ask me, because of the last podcast, about what I think about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trailer, my opinion stays the exact same. If not, it's definitely getting worse. That's really all I could say at this point. I've not been swayed either way. It's still, I'm keeping my decision to that opinion. So hi, Brant, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you? Aside from your disdain for the Turtles movie.
It's not bad. Not bad. So, do you want to talk really quick, since we're talking about all the news, about what the guys can expect from next week's Zone 4 segment?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, another reason we're not doing a Zone 4 segment on this week is because you got me for the whole show. I'm sure you don't want to hear me for another 10 minutes on top of that.
It would definitely, I'll be honest, it would definitely be weird to say, okay, I'm going to switch over to Brant now from Zone 4, and it's like, oh, hi, Brant.
Exactly. But, no, next week on the Zone 4 segment for this show, John's going to be joining me, and we're going to talk a little bit about his convention, actually his wife's convention that's coming up next Saturday, River City Comic Expo, and we might talk about a couple of other things as well, just whatever strikes us. It'll still be that 10-15 minutes, short version or whatever, but, yeah.
And I'll be putting, I was just going to say, I'll be putting a link in the description. There's a way to donate or to show your support through the Facebook, right?
Yeah, we're on zone4podcast.com. There's a sponsor page and stuff like that.
Okay, so you can check it out.
Sponsor and donate, yeah.
There you go. So if you guys want to check it out, go on zone4podcast.com. It's all there for you guys. But I'll put a link to the Facebook page at least on in the description or in the show notes.
Cool.
All right, so guys, C2E2 happened this week. Brant didn't go. I didn't go. A lot of people didn't go. But now correct me if I'm wrong, Brant. C2E2, there usually isn't such gigantic news that comes out of it normally.
They usually do a couple of things. I mean, obviously, both Marvel and DC save their biggest stuff for San Diego. But they usually start off with like a couple of announcements. I think this year more big stuff came out of it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by the amount of news we had coming out of it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of news, and we grazed on it, like I said, on Comic Frontline's live show yesterday. And I definitely wanted to go over it because I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things that are going to be coming up. And I wanted to share my opinion with you guys. And now that Brant's here, we're going to share our opinions together. So let's not do comics first. Let's get the movie and TV stuff out of the way. DC announced there is an official Justice League movie in the works.
Like we needed them to tell us that, though. Really?
Yeah. In 1997, I don't know if you knew this, Brant. In 1997, there was a script.
Okay.
There was a script for a Justice League movie. They just never executed it.
I've probably heard that, at some point, but yeah, doesn't surprise me.
I know that you're going to be talking about this on the Zone 4, so I know you're not going to say too much here. But for me, again, I trust Marvel. Marvel has given us nothing but the best. I mean, yes, there were hiccups along the way, a few movies here and there that weren't exactly the best of the best. But Marvel, out of every single movie company every single company that's produced a superhero movie, Marvel has proven themselves to be amazing with their movies, from Captain America to Thor to Iron Man to finally the Avenger movie. They're in phase 2 and 3. They've basically got their stuff down, which is awesome, and it's nice to see that they actually have a floor plan. And I'm looking forward to a lot of the movies that are coming out of the Marvel line. DC has yet to prove that they can do anything good outside of Batman. Man of Steel was good. Sort of.
It it was, but it's still just one movie. It's not a franchise. It's not multiple things, and that's what they're trying to do now. So,
right.
Yeah. Outside of Batman, they've never been able to do that. People could argue the original Superman movies, but honestly, after 2,
it went downhill.
Exactly.
Ironically, Christopher Reeves wrote number 4.
Wow.
I know.
That's such a bad movie.
Not as bad as Catwoman.
No, nothing's as bad as Catwoman. I would rather watch the made-for-TV Elektra movie than Catwoman.
Huh. But as far as Justice League, again, I have to see it to believe it. Right now, Turtles, not interested. Superman versus Batman, it looks like there's going to be a cluster of superheroes. I mean, they just announced, what's his name, Ray
Fisher
as Cyborg. So Ray Fisher is going to be making an appearance as Cyborg in the movie. Okay.
So it's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg so far. And I think they mentioned John Jones. And there's rumors of Flash.
Oh, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
Why don't we just get Matt Damon to play as the Aquaman? There was a rumor about that, I heard.
Well, Ben Affleck is in the movie, so that would not be surprising.
Indeed. But with me, you guys know me, I'm not really into the movies. I try to stay, close to the originators of the superheroes, which are the comics. If the movies are good, awesome. If they're not, oh well. But with Justice League, I think Warner Brothers has a lot to prove. I'll see when the trailer comes out if it looks worth watchable or not. Other than that, was there anything TV? DC also announced that they're going to be doing several movies, like Shazam, 100 Bullets, and Metal Men. They're being planned. Now, Brant, I have a question.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to pull off a Metal Men movie?
Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, that's the only way. I mean, obviously they've done it in other movies since then and better, but yeah, that's, yeah.
I don't think it's going to work.
It has to be a comedy if they do it. It has to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't see it succeeding any other way.
No. And what about Shazam?
Shazam, if that's really in the works finally, I think that's probably the one that The Rock is going to be in, and he is finally going to be Black Adam.
Yeah, has to be because he mentioned characteristics of like Black Adam.
Mm-hmm. So, for that reason alone, I'd probably see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big fan of The Rock anyway. Yeah, I could see that working. I don't know. It's that would have to be its own thing though, completely separate from everything else.
Gotcha. Yeah, 100 Bullets, I have no comment. I've never read 100 Bullets, so I can't.
It's Brian Azzarello. I really don't care.
Gotcha. So then I don't.
If you don't mind, real quick, going back over to the Marvel side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw this, but the Netflix shows that they're doing, the Daredevil, Luke Cage, and all that.
I did not see. I heard. I did not see it though yet.
Yeah. They did confirm or announce whatever that they are going to be tied into the cinematic universe, just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
I think that's spectacular because you know what? Even though they're Netflix only movies, eventually they're going to get DVDs, of course.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But even though they're straight to DVD movies, that means you got TV covered, you got movies covered, and now you've got straight to DVD movies covered.
Yep.
You've covered every single one of your bases.
Yeah. And, if you're the kind of person that likes to immerse yourself in all the side stories and everything, you get this whole tapestry fitting together of the Marvel Universe, which is just like the comics are, which I love.
Can you imagine if they did Civil War, and it went from the movies to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to another series on Netflix, like Mighty Avengers or The Defenders or whatever?
That'd be crazy.
But it would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, it'd be awesome. I love the way Marvel is constructing their
absolutely
movie stuff. And
I wish they would get Spider-Man back, though. They really need him in these movies.
Yeah. That would be the magic. I mean, if you could add, even Fantastic Four. X-Men, I could live without because even in the comics up until recent years, they've always kind of been their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could tie in Fantastic Four and Spider-Man into the Avengers cinematically, I think that would be amazing. No pun intended.
Well, actually, if they could do it with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, I don't see why they can't do it with Spider-Man or anybody else they lost, because technically Spider-Man is an Avenger.
That's true, yeah. I don't know, that's one of those gray areas they might have to explore sometime, but Sony is going to hang on to Spider-Man for dear life. You know that.
Yeah, literally, even if they have to make a horrible Venom movie called Lethal Protector.
God, no.
They are. You didn't hear?
Yeah, I've heard the talk about it, that and Sinister Six, yeah.
I don't even want to think about Venom. Don't want to think about it. Venom shouldn't have his own movie.
I agree.
And I think that's all the cinematic stuff we have.
I think so.
Yeah. So let's get into some comic news, which will be a little bit more of a brighter, more talkable. I'm looking at the titles and I'm thinking of which one would be more talkable. Storm's getting her own series. Are you getting it?
Who's writing it? I can't remember. Does it say?
Remember. I don't remember either.
Oh, hold on, I'll find out real
Greg
quick.
Pak.
That's who's writing Superman Batman, right?
Yeah. I'm not getting it, so I just was wondering if you would. I don't find the need for there to be a solo series for every single one of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe. There's no necessity to having every single X-Man have their own miniseries. And there's still no... I want Iceman!
Yeah, Iceman's one of my favorite characters. I agree with you. The only thing I'd say is Storm is a really popular character, so I understand. But at the same time, I don't know. I I don't know if she can carry a whole series. I mean, if it was like you guys were saying on the live show, if it was a mini series, if these were all mini series, I could accept that more readily. But an ongoing series that we don't, I mean, it could last. The way Marvel publishes with like the bi-monthly stuff, it could last 15, 20 issues
Exactly.
in a year, and that's just that's excessive for a character like Storm, in my personal opinion. Now, if they do a twist, if they take her somewhere different, they try to do something different with her, I could respect that, but I'm kind of on the fence about it right now.
I personally, with all the stuff I'm going to be buying, I'm
Right.
looking into the future more than I'm looking right now. Right now, next week, I've only got like 5 books from each company. Now, including Michael's, it brings it up a little bit higher, but eventually those 5 books are going to go into 10 and 15 and 20 books. I mean, there's a ton of new series coming out, like literally right around the corner. So,
yeah, I mean, to your point, this comes out in July, the Storm series. So does some other stuff that we're talking about, the 100th anniversary stuff. All
Right.
that comes out in July.
right.
The new Star-Lord series, which we'll be talking about that too.
Yeah, that's next.
Yeah. The Original Sin's still going on at that point. What else? Seems like there's something else
Well,
too.
Original Sin is going to be going for a while. There'll be the .1 still going on for Amazing Spider-Man. A Spideyverse Spider-Verse is probably starting, I think, around then, or close to around then.
I think it starts in September, so.
Oh, okay, starting in September.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Groot and
Rocket.
and Rocket are going to have their own solo, and Rocket Raccoon's getting his own ongoing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of books coming out from Marvel alone in July. Yeah.
And then DC has Doom for Superman, which is a huge, several book crossover.
Grayson, Robin Rises. Yeah.
Future's End and Batman Eternal both will be continuing.
Yeah. So yeah. Storm would probably be one of those that's like way, way, way at the bottom. If there's like extra money up under the couch somewhere, kind of thing.
Exactly, and not only that. I mean, think about all the tie-ins that we're going to get for Original Sin. Think about it. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of the major highlights, but again, think about all the tie-ins. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're going to want to read the Spider-Man tie-in. If you're a Thor fan, or if you're interested in the Thor news, you're going to want to read the Thor book. If you're a Shenanigans fan, you're going to want to read Deadpool, for example. I mean, and actually Deadpool's story looks very serious for Original Sin. So, again, we don't know what books we're picking up. I don't know what books I'm going to pick up for Original Sin. I know I'm not going to get, like, Uncanny X-Men, but there's a lot of interesting stories. Like, for example, Thor. I would like to pick Thor up, and we'll see why. And then there's also Hulk versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, Storm is not a character that I could say, hey, it's Storm. I must buy this.
Right. No, I agree.
I even dropped Moon Knight. Moon Knight 3 is coming out next week. I didn't get it.
I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that are huge, huge Storm fans that will be thrilled about this, and that's fine. It's just not us.
No. Now, Star-Lord, I'm interested in, but I'm a little weary. I will be getting Star-Lord issue 1, however, because I'm interested. I'm loving the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm loving the galactic side, the cosmic side of the Marvel U. So before anybody jumps down my throat and says, "I thought you were my Storm, but it's the cosmic side of the Marvel U. Excuse me for being tired of X-Men and mutants for a little bit and want to reach out to something else that's more interesting in my opinion. The part that's killing me a little bit with this series is Kitty Pryde is going to be supporting a supporting character for Peter Quill. And this stems back to the trial of Jean Grey where Peter Quill gives Kitty the communicator and says, anytime you want, doesn't have to be an emergency, even if you just want to talk, just shoot me a call. And she's like, you're going to live to regret that? And he's like, I'm sure I won't. Yeah, I'm sure the readers are going to live to regret that. And I want to know one thing. When you're an X-Men, does that mean you're very loose? Because, I mean, Storm has been with Black Panther, now she's with Wolverine. Kitty Pryde was with Colossus, who then she broke up with and got together with Iceman, who then she broke up with, and now she's dating Star-Lord. And Rogue was dating Gambit, they broke up, and she started dating freaking Magneto. Magneto! A man who's old enough to be her grandpa.
Well, I mean, people have different relationships. I don't think that makes them lose necessarily. I think the definition of loose would be the ones that went with Tony Stark, but
they all did.
Exactly. But I get your point. It does seem like she just got through with Iceman, and now she's flirting with Star-Lord, which is kind of forced. It's and Dupe, yeah, who proposed to her, which I don't even want to talk about. But no, I agree. It's forced because Kitty's a popular character, and I like Kitty. I think she's a fantastic character. And Star-Lord, they're really wanting to push because of the movie, and all that stuff. So it's very forced. I'll give you that. But it's interesting.
I'm getting Star-Lord because I like Star-Lord.
Yeah.
As far as Kitty Pryde, I just hope she doesn't drag the series down. I mean, she's everywhere. She went from Wolverine and the X-Men. She decided Wolverine was wrong or her position was wrong, and she decided, I'm going to go with Dicop because Dicop all of a sudden was right. He just killed the professor, but oh well. And now she's deciding to leave Cyclops possibly to go out into space with Peter Quill, and then no responsibility for anything or anybody.
No, I agree with that. That was totally out of character for her to just switch sides and go with Cyclops and all that stuff. That was not well done at all. I hated that.
Now, in Amazing X-Men, when Nightcrawler did that in the recent issue where they were celebrating his return, when Nightcrawler asked for Cyclops and his people to show up, he did it because he just wanted to pretend for that one night that everybody was happy and together still, even though he knows that they're not, and they probably won't be for a very long time.
Yeah, but the difference is Nightcrawler was dead when that happened.
Right, so it's kind of I want to just feel like at least things didn't change so much tonight, and then tomorrow I'll wake up and realize how things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, because for him, the last time he was with Cyclops was the leader of all the X-Men, and they were fighting another threat, and they were all a family. So, yeah, I can understand that from Nightcrawler, but Kitty Pryde has been there through it all. She was there when he killed Professor X, and so that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I'm going to look over Kitty Pryde. I'm still going to enjoy some Star-Lord. I mean, I'm getting Rocket Raccoon because I love Rocket Raccoon. Mm-hmm. I'll check out Star-Lord. I'll get the one-shot with Groot. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm enjoying the comic series. I know Marvel's doing it to saturate the market with Guardians of the Galaxy comics, so this way people will be like, hey, I want to go see the movie now. But I don't. If it's something I like with the Spider-Man movie, they had to bring Peter Parker back because of the movie. I'm pretty okay with that because you know what, it works in my favor.
Exactly. And I know you're not big on the movies and stuff, but I hope you find a way to go see Guardians in August.
I am going to try my darndest. Yep. If I have to pick one movie to see, it's that movie. I would avoid everything else like the plague. Like, for example, the Turtles movie. I mean, I would like to see Godzilla. Godzilla's coming out soon, but I would even skip watching that in the movies to go see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow. Cool. Well, hopefully you'll get to, and we'll get to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll find a way to do something somewhere.
Awesome.
Okay, sticking with X-Men, though, it was announced. I mean, we all knew this was coming with Wolverine. I mean, they've been saying it. They've been teasing it. They've been saying that by the fall there's going to be a major story arc.
What?
Yeah, right.
What?
We all called it. The Death of Wolverine is coming this September.
I never saw that coming after Killable.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Sorry.
But it looks interesting. I like you saw the poster, the poster with the claws, and then one claw breaks, the next claw breaks, the next claw breaks, and then all you see is the adamantium skeleton for the hand.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I think that the series there's a possibility that if this is done right, it'll definitely help the character. There are so many things that they could do to fix Wolverine if they kill him and then bring him back. For example, don't let him remember his past. Don't make him a wuss and be like, it's for the kids. Yo, it's for the kids. Wolverine is not, Mr. T. Wolverine is an animal. I think we need Wolverine more animal-esque and more, the way he used to be, and less, I love the kids. I'm doing the school for the kids, so they don't have to be like the way Cyclops is. Wolverine essentially was Cyclops at one point.
Yeah, I mean, they completely switched roles.
And it sucks, because it doesn't fit Wolverine. I mean, for Cyclops, I hate him, so I don't mind using this role, but Wolverine, it doesn't fit him to be in this role. He shouldn't be a headmaster. He shouldn't even matter. He shouldn't even be anywhere near a teacher's desk. He needs to be in the danger room, slicing and dicing robots. He needs to be out there, playing the solo dude, getting his life as Patch or whatever, done. Not having to be responsible for like a ton of kids, not to be like a headmaster. What the hell did Marvel do to Wolverine?
I think it honestly goes back to the movies, because he's the lead character in the movies, and at the time, they were tying everything closely in, especially like the looks and everything with Grant Morrison's run and all that stuff, and they kind of gradually made him to this leader kind of position, and that was the natural progression of a leader of the X-Men, to be a teacher and, kind of teach the younger students. So, logically you get it, but for a character like Wolverine, I agree with you. Everybody likes Wolverine when he's feral and he doesn't care, and he's, the guy that you call when you need something done that nobody else will do.
I mean, you remember X-Men Evolution. I'm sure you watched that.
Mm-hmm.
He was Wolverine, but at the same time he was a teacher.
Exactly.
Wolverine #1.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Killable can help the character, I think.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance to do it like they did in Evolution, and it's one that they don't always do so well in the comics.
Very true. So, I don't know. Are you going to get it, though? I'm definitely in to get this series just to see how they're going to do it and, like, obviously, he's not going to stay dead forever. Eventually, somehow, some way, whether it be a couple of months, a couple of years, a year, an event, whatever, he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been enjoying the Wolverine solo series.
Have you been reading it?
Yeah, I've been reading it, and it's the same writer, and Steve McNiven, I think it's the same writer. No, Paul Cornell's writing the Wolverine series. Charles Soule's writing. Well, yeah, he's a good writer too. So, and Steve McNiven on the art, which I do love his art. He is a fantastic artist. So, yeah, it looks like an interesting story, and I'm curious to see where Wolverine goes from here. Because, I mean, lately he's been running around with, like, this armor because he's killable now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a natural progression of that. So, yeah, I'm on board.
I'll definitely get it when it gets up to that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, what else we got? Oh, okay. Let's get into some original sin stuff. Well, we all knew, let's get the stuff we knew out of the way. Fantastic Four. We knew that to get to the point where Fantastic Four #1 was, where all that bad stuff happened, it happened during Original Sin.
Yeah.
So apparently, the Thing murdered somebody, and Reed Richards knows something about it, and that's what the Fantastic Four's Original Sin is, the Thing.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. I have faith in James Robinson as a writer of the Fantastic Four series. I love the series, what he's done with it so far.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Unless it's like this accidental thing.
I think that would work. Because the Thing, I don't see the Thing purposely killing anyone.
No, I can't either. He's got too much honor and too much
heart.
Yeah, too much heart to do something like that, to go to that level. So yeah, if it's an accidental thing, because the thing is the kind of character where if something like that happened, it would nearly break him.
I think as a character, yeah, it would.
Yeah, because I mean, he carries things heavily on his shoulders, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's that kind of character, and to do it any other way, I don't think it would make sense for the character.
I 100% agree. I don't know. I'm just excited to see what they do with Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Now with Thor, they admit that Angela is going to be their sister.
That's an interesting twist.
So basically, it's Odin's dirty little secret, and the 10th realm is also a dirty little secret of Odin's.
Now, is the 10th realm in the backyard of the Image universe? Is that how this works?
Apparently, because the 10th realm is where Angela's from.
Oh, shoot. For anybody that doesn't know, Angela was originally in Spawn, but Neil Gaiman owned the character, so after a long battle, Marvel somehow landed her.
Marvel bought it from him.
Yeah. So, yeah. The type of character that she's been portrayed in Guardians of the Galaxy, it makes sense for her to be an Asgardian or, related in some way to
Absolutely.
that. So I get that. I don't know what else they could have done with her except to just be the similar kind of character to those without explanation. I think it's interesting that they make her related to Thor and Loki, though. It puts an interesting twist in it. I don't know. I'm kind of curious about this.
I am too. That's what's going to get me to pick Thor back up again.
Yeah.
With Daredevil, we find out that there's more stuff about his mother.
I don't know much about his mother. I didn't know any of this because I'm not like a long-time Daredevil reader.
Same here. Only with Mark Waid have I gotten into Daredevil, so I have no idea about the mother's past.
Yeah, same here. I tried to read Shadowland, and it was absolutely awful. So this is probably Mark Waid's run is probably the first Daredevil I've read since random issues when I was a kid. So yeah, I didn't really know anything about this. So
yeah.
What is this new information? Do we know anything about it now?
I really want to be surprised, so I really didn't look too much into it.
Okay.
Apparently, it's something his mother did.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
That's all we know.
Now, is Mark Waid still writing that particular story?
I believe so.
Yeah. Then I have total faith.
With Mark Waid, absolutely.
Yep.
Now, this one is the most dangerous and the most, the one that worries me the most, because it could be really, really good, and it'll be a success, and go on for many years, or it could be really, really bad, and I don't think even a superior makeover is going to fix this problem, like Brand New Day, that needed God knows how long. Anyway, the original sin thing with Spider-Man is that after Pete flung the spider off of his hand, before the spider died, it bit one other person, a woman, and she goes by the name of Silk, and in the July solicits, you see her standing over Pete in the web of life, or whatever the heck the spider web thingy is, and Spider-Man's all webbed up, so basically she's taking over as head of the web, possibly.
That's possible. I mean,
I don't know.
In a way, it kind of makes sense that, I mean, obviously a spider could bite more than one person, and that would, especially in the environment that it was in, that makes sense. It's just the problem I have is where the heck has she been this whole time?
Exactly. There would be hints. There would be something. I mean, at least something that we all, could say, hey, okay, the hints were dropped here, here, and here.
Mm-hmm.
This is possible. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I mean, Pete was the only character that was a spider anything for years. And then you had Spider-Woman and Arania, and Madam Web and the other Spider-Girl for a time.
And
where
the other
was
Spider-Woman, too.
this?
Huh? And the other Spider-Woman, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It kind of makes me think of the other storyline and that scares me.
What other storyline? Oh, the other.
The other, yeah.
Other. I thought you meant like another storyline. I'm like, what other storyline?
Yeah, no, it's confusing when you say that. The Other by Straczynski.
Oh, please, let's not remember that.
But I don't know. I'm not crazy about the costume either. It's creative, but it's just like, okay, let's create a spider character and just put webs all over.
Again, but I feel like Original Sin now is the most dangerous event or miniseries that Marvel has done in a long time, because you're dealing with major, super gigantic changes or additions or flip-flops for each and every character listed for Original Sin. And this isn't going to just like disappear like with all the other events. This is an event that's going to impact the Marvel Universe to its core, to the way, to change it to something, to a different, to take the whole universe to a different plateau kind of thing. And it's going to add new characters. It's going to explain a lot of things that, we thought we knew but we didn't.
Mm.
And that's dangerous, because that's like rewriting history without rebooting.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one other point in that you left out, or maybe you missed. There's also going to be the revelation of the last will and testament of Charles Xavier.
I did not even know about this.
Yeah.
Or
It says the document is going to reveal some secrets and shed huge light onto the character of Charles Xavier. So, it doesn't really say much more than that, other than it's going to have huge effects on, obviously, the X-Men, both, Cyclops group and Wolverine's group. So, yeah. I don't know. The last time some big secret from Professor X was revealed, we got Cyclops' half-brother.
And Danger. We also got Danger also.
And Danger, and learned that, there was another team of X-Men that were killed and all this crazy stuff, and Professor X was forever changed in the eyes of everybody. So I don't know.
Wanted him as the leader anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very skeptical of the Original Sin, and now I feel like at least I have to pick up the 8 issues of Original Sin just to see what's going to happen, because this isn't like Age of Ultron. This isn't like what happened after Age of Ultron? Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's going to impact fundamentally to the core, to the roots, certain characters.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're not going to pull a Fear Itself where people are going to die, and then they do die, but then in the wrap-up or the recap, they don't really die.
Yeah, I think Fear Itself, they realized by the end of it that, hey, this really didn't work, so we just need to kind of rewrite it all back to the way it was. This particular story, Original Sin, is a far more personal story than any of those that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it has these deep, not only they're kind of psychological effects as well as revelations because you're dealing with these secrets coming to the surface, and it's going to impact the way they look at each other and all this stuff, and it could have huge ramifications. Yeah, I
can't wait till Captain America remembers what the New Avengers did to him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick up New Avengers to see that arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That will be awesome.
Though right now, I think New Avengers is trying to rival Wonder Woman in the amount, in the length of a single story arc, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I've seen.
Anyway.
One other thing from Marvel that I'd like to mention is they did show a teaser for the next event. I love how they're already planning their events. Their events so far in advance. Like, hey, you're going to come out of Original Sin, and the following month you are going to get Axis. The A is the Avengers A.
Mm-hmm.
The X is the X-Men X.
Mm-hmm.
And what the story behind it is it's either going to be another Avengers versus X-Men, like round 2, or it's going to be the X-Men having to combine their forces again and team up with the Avengers.
Well, because of what we just found out with the last One Testament of Professor X, I don't know, that could have some kind of play into this story. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure something from some story arc will.
Yeah. I don't know. It could either be something that's like contained within Uncanny Avengers. It could be like in a mini event or something like that, or it could be this big blown out major event. We don't know. It's happening towards the end of the year, which is kind of weird.
Very weird.
But at the same time, Infinity ran towards the end of the year into the next year, so right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really on the fence about that. I don't think we need another Avengers X-Men event.
I don't think we need an event every month. I mean,
I agree.
Marvel used to do one event, just one, and that was the big thing for the whole year, and it always happened in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Avengers versus X-Men, ironically, first it went to 2 events a year, Avengers versus X-Men, and then the other event. Then we're now in this year, and they're doing 3.
Actually, I looked this up because I was watching the live show, and I'm sure you haven't had a chance to read my comments. I left you guys like 15 comments, only because you asked for them, by the way. But no, I actually looked this up to see exactly when this all started with the multiple events. It actually goes back further than that.
It does. Tell them.
2006. It goes back to Annihilation and Civil War happened the same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And after that, from that point on, it just grew. It was like 2 that year. 2007 had 2. 2008 had 3. 2009 had 4. 2010 had 10 different events, if you include stuff like Shadowland and World War Hulks and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so this isn't including like the self-contained ones.
Yeah, well, 2010 did. It was like all over the place. It had tons of stuff going on. 2011 had 5 different events. 2012, though, which is interesting because you brought this up, 2012 only had 1 event, which was Avengers vs. X-Men.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but after that, it went back. 2013 had 3, and 2014, so far, if you include Axis, has 5.
What I don't understand is why Marvel has to put out so many events. Let the universe settle for a bit. This is why 100 years from now, things are going to be the way they are.
Yeah. And, when we talk about events, we're talking about either crossovers within a certain group of titles or universe-wide or, stuff like that, not the single story arcs.
Stuff in a book, yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse is not an event.
Right.
Spider-Verse is a gigantic story arc within Spider-Man.
Yeah. But stuff like Shadowland and World War Hulks tied into different books, so, that's why I included those in the 2010 one. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. 5 events this year. 5 events, because you had Infinity continuing into it. You had Battle of the Atom, which crossed
Humanity.
Yeah, you have Inhumanity, which, is still going on, on the fringes. Original Sin, which just started, and then we have Axis coming up. And Spider-Verse, if that crosses over with multiple titles, that's going to be 6. It's ridiculous. It's overkill.
Your tongue.
It's overkill, though. It's crazy.
And the problem is DC's following right behind with 3 weekly series, a Batman series with Robin, which we'll get into that, and Doom with Superman, like a bunch of stuff inside their books, and then they got 3 weeklies and the big event that's going to happen in September, which will obviously... We're still in freaking Forever Evil. It was supposed to be over. We got to wait till the end of this month.
Oh, man. Yeah, all the books. I was reading, I can't remember what book it was, but I think it was Batgirl. It was already referencing stuff that happened after Forever Evil's over. And it's like, this is nuts. I don't know why they're doing it this way. I don't get it. Marvel and DC, it's just...
The big two are very frustrating lately, and it's unfortunate because I enjoy just picking up a comic, whether it be called Batman, whether it be called Detective Superman. Let's not go there. Green Lantern and stuff like that. Not have to think about, hey, there's a major event going on, or hey, they're doing a major event in this book right now. I need to get this, and that, because that's what I think takes away.
Yeah, I think back to your original point, when we had one event a year, and even if you go back further than that, if you go back pre-80s or like even in the 80s and 90s, you didn't even have that. It was like
not even right.
Yeah. But I mean, I think even with one a year, it still has that impact because you have your regular stories going on all throughout the year, and then once a year, usually in the summer, you have this big thing that impacts everything, and it makes it exciting. It's like a big tentpole movie, the way that the Marvel movies are one right now. It's that kind of thing. But when you have event after event after event, it's like it gets to the point where you're like, there's no status quo, there's no calm. It's just all storm.
Exactly, one event, which is seriously, Original Sin is ending in August, and guess what? The Axis is starting in September.
Yeah, it's one right after the other. There's no let up, ever.
It's like the Marvel Universe has literally said, hey, just take me.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that we go back to the days of every single issue is a single story.
Right, no, I know that. That's a definite no-no.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while, yeah, that's fine. But to keep readers' interest, I think you do need ongoing story arcs. But I think we need to get back to a point where there's more in-book stuff as opposed to more crossovers.
I agree.
But, who are we?
Look, you could look at it one of two ways. Because I talked to a few people about this. You could look at it the way we're looking at it, where we're looking at it as readers, but also we're looking at it at a corporate level, where we're like, this is Marvel's way of making this much more money now. But if you look at it from a reader standpoint, a lot of readers do enjoy events, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that this is an overkill of events. It's like, if I'm a new reader, I don't need to hear that there's Axis, and then there's Original Sin, and then after Axis is going to be the brand spanking new, all-new Marvel Now launch, and then after that's going to be a Hawkeye miniseries where they're going to conclude the Hawkeye ongoing series. Stuff like that. We don't need all this crazy stuff going on.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, and I hate to keep going back to movies, but it's a good.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good analogy in this point. If you think about it, if you look at a movie as kind of a mini event, because there's so much that happens from start to finish in a film,
right?
Especially a superhero film, you've got basically an entire event that they're, condensing into 2 hours. If you put that into comic terms, where there's event after event after event, it's the equivalent of having 5 Marvel movies 5 months in a row.
Oh, God.
That would be... you couldn't... people would get so sick of those movies by that point that they'd never want to see another one again. And as I don't care how much you love the movies, having them come out that often, eventually, you get weary of it. You get tired of it, and it would start to get boring.
And let's not forget, Infinity was nothing to talk about, and neither was Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron just erased itself.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Personally, I'm going to probably end up getting it, because maybe this will be where things kind of fix up in the Marvel Universe. But I'm not sure. It all depends what I'm buying. Now, in July, we were given a bunch of books called The 100th.
Mm-hmm.
100th
anniversary.
Huh?
100th anniversary, they were labeled.
Yeah. And we had no idea what the heck the 100th anniversary is. And we found out this week through Guardians of the Galaxy and through news from C2E2 that 100 years is basically the year 3016.
Actually, it's 2061.
I thought it was 3000. In Guardians of the Galaxy, it says 3016.
That's supposed to be 2061 because Marvel was founded in 1961.
Let me check. I'm going to double check to let you know now. Well, maybe this one is a little bit further along, but I'll check. Hold on. Nope, the year Earth 3014. 100 years from today.
Well, maybe the press release got it wrong then, because that's what they said in the press release.
Yeah, maybe the press release is wrong. Maybe they meant 100 years from now, not birth.
Yeah, maybe so.
But basically, 100 years from now, the Marvel Universe's time stream is so messed up that they are looping. And we'll talk about that with Guardians of the Galaxy. But because the time stream is so screwed up, they now have to send somebody through time to fix the mess up.
So it is future then.
Exactly what I was thinking. This is like a soft core version of Future's End. Whereas Future's End is a weekly series, the 100th anniversary is 1 month, probably a book or two a week, and that's it, like Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Its own little mini event.
Mm-hmm.
However, this kind of sounds important. This is going to be the way to say they save the time stream, possibly. And with the Watcher gone, nobody's exactly in guard of that anymore.
Yeah, that's true. As we'll talk about in Original Sin, number 0. But you're right. 3014, the press, whatever I read, must have gotten it wrong. So I apologize because I left a comment on that on the live show too. I apologize for that because it was misinformation I was giving them. But I remember, was it last episode of your podcast we were trying to figure this out?
Was it?
Yeah, because we did Marvel Solicits, or was it,
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we were like, okay, how does that make sense? Because Marvel hasn't existed for 100 years, and all that stuff, and that's basically what happened, because Marvel's 50th anniversary was 3 years ago. And
yeah.
If you combine it with, I did this whole math thing in an article I wrote for CR. It was like, if you combine their time as timely, then this year, 2014, is the 75th anniversary. So we just had the 50th, it's kind of the 75th, and now we're celebrating the 100th.
We're not waiting.
It's crazy.
But basically, I think it's going to be about the messed up time stream in all the books.
Yeah, it's got that loose tie into Original Sin because of what we saw with Nova and Uatu in that book. I think, anyway.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's basically covering all the news. Let me make triple sure. If so, then we can go into book. Oh no, there is one more thing.
Okay. With
Batman, Damian Wayne is they're not. Who said it? I want to make sure I get it right. Wow, I had it and then I lost it. Oh, he's not coming back yet. Doesn't say who said it. Basically, we're gonna have Hunt for Robin, then we're gonna have Robin Rises, Omega, and then apparently we're going from the end of the alphabet all the way back to the beginning, because then we're getting Robin Rises Alpha, which is where officially the beginning of Damian's return is possibly happening. They're not even saying if it's Damian or not.
Right. It's just Robin.
Somebody completely different, and we don't know yet. So I don't know. I mean, Damian wasn't in that big Batsgiving Day picture. Whereas Dick, I think, was, but he was in regular clothes. So, I don't know. I would like to see Damian return, but if the powers that be don't want it, it's not going to happen.
Well, let's hope it's not Dick going back to being Robin, because that would just
that would be awkward.
Yeah, that would be awkward and wrong.
Yeah, I don't think he's going back to being Robin, though.
I mean, and in the New 52, Tim was never technically Robin. He was always Red Robin.
Exactly. So that's definitely very annoying also.
Yeah.
I don't like the New 52 when they do that. They erase, like, a lot of history for really good characters. Like, Tim Drake was an awesome Robin. Not as good as Dick Grayson, but
he was my favorite.
Who?
Tim. Tim was my favorite Robin.
I'm used to Tim, so I think I could live with Tim as my Robin.
Yeah. I just both in the comics and I don't know. I always felt like he was the one in the animated series too. I don't know. He's the more appealing character to me. I always prefer him over Grayson.
I like Dick a little bit more. But that's all the news from C2E2. C2E2 was awesome and amazing this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next year, it looks like the conventions are really, DC and Marvel especially, are stepping up their game.
Yeah, and I think these the Reed shows, which are C2E2 and New York Comic Con, obviously, have really kind of shown that they're a place to, really make it big. I mean, New York Comic Con's been that way for a while, but I think C2E2 now, obviously, is this year as an example, is really showing that it's a point of interest. It's a place that things happen now.
Yeah, and it gets more people to want to go to more different conventions.
Yeah. And just a loose little tie-in. I don't know if you knew this, but at the NYC special edition thing that they're doing in June, all the new Marvel Young Gun artists are going to be there. All 6 of them. Yeah. Which is it's cool if you, I don't know if you're going or not, but if you're going, Sarah Pacelli is going to be there.
I'm not sure.
No, she is. She's one of the Young Guns. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's a fantastic artist.
Yes.
And did she do some of the Ultimate stuff? She did some Ultimate Spider-Man, right?
Yes, I believe she did do some Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because I know you're a big fan of that book. So.
Well, let's see now with the changeover, because everything Ultimate lately went... So hopefully Miles Morales will redeem at least that book for me.
I haven't read any of them yet, so I don't know.
The artwork alone, you don't need to read it. If you look at the Ultimates artwork, you're going to be like, oh my god, what happened? Did I bleach my eyes?
Well, Sarah Pacelli came up to the big leagues. She's on the main books now. So.
Good.
Isn't she doing like, she's doing something with Bendis now. I can't remember what it is. Is it?
Oh, but I see Bendis on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering if it was Guardians that she was doing or if it was something else. I can't remember.
No, on Guardians it's Bradshaw, Wong, and Ponsor.
Oh, that's right. I gotta look her up now. See what she's doing. Because I know I've seen her name on something recently. Go ahead.
In a way, though, I'm glad that the big two are kind of stepping their game up with all the cons, not just San Diego and New York.
Right.
However, the execution of certain things I question.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I agree.
Hopefully, it's not all steam that they're blowing at us, and then it's like, oh, it's the biggest event ever, and then at the end of the event, you're like, why did I waste my money on all these books? This was fun.
Right. No, I agree. Hopefully, it'll be better though. Huh.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I can't find it.
Okay, so with that, I guess we'll go into some comic talk then. Brant, actually, you read 3 of the books that we're discussing, so I'll really quickly, I want to make a couple of mentions. Secret Origin, did you read this, or do you have it to read?
No.
Good. Secret Origin, for $5, you get 3 stories, about 12 pages each. One story was Superman, obviously, because he's on the cover. One story is Dick Grayson, Robin, and one is Supergirl. Supergirl's was the least interesting, period, hands down. Apparently, her father was doing some bad things, and the mother shot the father as Kara was leaving Krypton. So that's some dark stuff right there. But beside the point, for $5 for these little stories in this book, not worth it. I would say pick and choose your favorite characters. If it's not your favorite character, just let the book go.
Was the Superman story any good?
It started off on Krypton where it's Laura and Jor-El briefly.
Mm-hmm.
He then goes to Earth where it focuses on Martha Kent, and then their death. Their very bloody car crash death.
Okay. Because I was just wondering, because Greg Pak wrote that one.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. You did a great job.
Yeah. So, how about that Storm series?
Never happening.
Glad I missed that one then.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you really missed too much, to be quite honest.
I'm so tired of DC Origins. It feels like we've gotten 3 different Origin things since the New 52 launched.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're continuing with the Origins, but of course, again, that's DC for you.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention, Superman number 30, definitely has me pumped for Superman Doomed. The stuff that's going on with Lois, the stuff that's going on with Superman and in Smallville with the Kryptonian word Doom basically crop circled in the cornfield. Yeah, it definitely, this series has potential. I'm hoping that it stays the direction it's going in right now. At least it'll be better than what we've been getting from Superman, but it'll never be the true Superman without the boxers.
Now, see, I'm surprised to hear you say that because you've really been dreading this story.
I've been dreading it. I'm still kind of anxious about it because I know where it's going, but there's so many things, so many additional things that are happening around Superman at the same time that I understand he'll be the focal point with Doomed and everything, but for example, the bottled city of Kandor, you got all the inhabitants all of a sudden trying to break out in the Fortress of Solitude. What's going on? So there's so much going on that I definitely just want to know what the heck's going on.
That is interesting. You know, one of the stories I really got into pre-New 52 was what was it called? New Krypton?
Yeah.
I really got into that for whatever reason. It really appealed to me. So when you talk about Kandor escaping, that kind of piques my curiosity.
Kandor, they briefly talked about it, and then in the book too, it's like, you know, Kandor's been silent for so many years, and now all of a sudden the inhabitants are starting to move around and bash on the window, and you're like, what the heck's going on? And then you got Lois Lane, who has her thing. I don't want to spoil it, but she has her part to all this going on behind Superman's back. You've got Superman in Smallville, and Smallville's basically decimated by, I don't know what, Superman doesn't even know what, but he sees the word Doom and he's like, this is going to be Doomsday again, what the heck am I going to do?
Gotcha.
And it's just left like that, it's like, wow.
Oh, can I, speaking of Lois Lane, this is a very, very, very minor spoiler for Free Comic Book Day. Do you mind if I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's her picture on a billboard 5 years in the future. Apparently she's either got her own blog or her own site or something. It's called the Fast Lane.
I'll die laughing if Clark goes back to the Daily Planet and she quits.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be. So I thought that really stuck out at me. It was just one quick panel that you see that in, so.
That would be hilarious. I'm hoping there's a lot of interesting hope for the future with DC Comic, but at the same time, I'm hoping that they'll fix some things. I mean, we need some of the old DCU back, you know? This new DCU, it's as much as great as they claim it is, I think it would be a lot better with some of the old, what's the word I'm looking for? The older stuff mixed in with it.
Yeah.
I think,
go ahead.
So go ahead, you go.
I think it's interesting, because we just found out recently that all the weekly series are ending in March. I think it's interesting that they're all converging at that period in time, and they claim that, the New 52 is never going to be the same again after all this stuff happens. And with all 3 weekly series, not really tied together, but at the same time, they're all dealing with multiple worlds and time travel and all this stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think World's End and Future's End definitely have a lot that'll be tied in together, but Batman Eternal is just something that's going to go on with Batman.
Maybe, but it is kind of in the future a little bit, so.
True.
I don't know.
Very true. I don't know. With DC Comics, I mean, I could write them an essay about why I think the old DCU was a lot better than the new, but they're not going to care. They're going to shred it, and they're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, very true.
So, that's what I'm going to do, move forward. To the Guardians of the Galaxy, double-sized anniversary issue number 14, really issue number 100, I believe, of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
I don't want to give away the main story because I know, Brant, you're reading it, but it was really good. And it definitely sets up Captain Marvel and Venom's entrance to Guardians of the Galaxy. As far as the secondary story, the second story is about 3014, and that's where you get a little bit of insight on what to expect with the 100th anniversary issues. And I gotta admit, though, I like the artwork if this is the artwork we're going to see in the 100th anniversary issue. And the team is very interesting. Seeing the person who's wielding Captain America's shield, I'm trying
Major Victory, isn't it?
I think it is Major Victory.
Which is Justice from New Warriors. Or a version of him.
Yeah, I think
Fantastic.
It is him.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It looks really interesting. I don't know. I really would like to sink my teeth into the 100th anniversary special and just see where this definitely gave me an interest. This little mini story at the end of this book got me very interested, and it involves the time stream. It involves this war that's going on, and they can't win it because they keep time looping. Whether they win it, they lose it, they just loop back into time, and it all has something to do with something that was done in the time stream back in our time right now. So they send this woman. They're gonna send this woman. I forgot her name. They're gonna send her back because she's like the only one that can rectify it. Let me see. What was her name? Gina Drake. I don't know who she is yet, but apparently they say she's the only one that could do it. To fix the time stream and the entire Marvel future. Good luck, Gina!
Interesting.
I think you'd have to travel way back to Civil War and prevent Civil War from happening.
That would do it, yeah. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe House of M.
Well, didn't that happen after Civil War?
I'm trying to think. I don't remember, honestly.
I think it happened after Civil War. I could be wrong, but Civil War, I think if you undo that, you'll undo the Brand New Day for Spider-Man, you'll undo a lot of stuff that happened in the Marvel Universe that led to all this time travel, the schism with the X-Men, everything happened after Civil War. Yeah. That needed to not happen.
Just go back and stop the New Warriors from having a reality TV show. That'll stop everything. Because that's what kicked off Civil War, yeah. But no, House of M was the year before Civil War.
Oh, it was the year before?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wolverine had his memories an entire year before the Civil War broke out.
Yeah, and all this stuff started with Avengers Disassembled. It all started when Bendis took over the Avengers. You realize that, right?
Yeah. I realize that. But Brian Michael Bendis has delivered really good stories.
He has. Yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. This is something that I will definitely be looking into in July, though, and you could definitely look forward to me talking about it on here, as well as on my reviews. And the only other book that I read that I know Brant still has to read, but he doesn't mind about the spoilers, is Batman Eternal #3. Guys, if you are not reading Batman Eternal, oh my God, where have you been? You got to be reading this series. It's really, really good. Out of the 3 weekly series right now, this is first place. We'll see starting next week with Future's End if Future's End will beat Batman Eternal or be equal with Batman Eternal or worse than Batman Eternal. But Batman Eternal every issue, obviously it's a weekly series, so they can't do so much because there's got to be like 52 issues. But each issue has its own speciality, its own special feel, and in this one, not a lot happens, but it feels like a lot happens. First of all, we get introduced to Stephanie Brown, which I'm not going to spoil here. If you guys want to see that, get the book. It's the first couple of pages. And then Batman rages his war against Carmine Falcone and the gangs of Gotham. Forbes becomes commissioner, and he's on Carmine Falcone and the mayor's side. So he's going to be like a dirty commissioner. And he rages a war, or he starts a war against Batman and the police. So now everybody's going to be dogpiling on Batman. And Gotham's just going to sink to ruin, basically.
Wow.
I can't wait to continue this. It's really good. It's going to be interesting to see how they got to that point at the very beginning of Batman Eternal, and how Batman's going to get out of that. That was a horrible, horrible mess, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I really want to catch up with this one. I've only read the first issue so far.
Now, I talked for a couple of issues. I would. Talk about Batman Eternal first.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm really eager to catch up.
I would definitely recommend you do. It's amazing. Now, Brant, you read 2 books, and it'll help me get a little bit of rest talking. Would you like to discuss those 2 books? Because I actually have those on my top 2.
Okay. I actually read 2 and skimmed
through the third one
other.
I'm saving for both of us.
Yeah, right, exactly. Daredevil number 2, which
The Shroud.
Yeah, it's the Shroud. This obviously, he's like this B-level, maybe even C-level character in the Marvel universe, but apparently he's like this new big baddie going around. And we learned a secret about him that was kind of surprising to me. That kind of makes him on the same level with Daredevil a little bit, and I think you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, him being blind.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if you want to spoil that or not.
I talked about it on my review. Did you not notice also the whole origin of how he got his powers was very Batman-esque?
Yeah, exactly. His parents were killed in front of him, and during a mugging and all that stuff. So yeah, he's definitely a Batman analog at the way they're making him. And weren't they wanting Daredevil to go after somebody else? I read this like really fast. Yeah, the Owl, who Daredevil like cracked up about when.
Because he thought Kingpin was going to be back.
Yeah, they were like, it's a new Kingpin of crime, and then she was like, it's whatever his actual name is, Owlsley. And he just burst out in laughter. He's like, I thought you were talking about Wilson Fisk. And then they bring up the Shroud. He learns about the Shroud's, blindness and everything, and discovers that he's a bigger threat than he would ever thought he was. After he kind of tries to befriend him a little bit, and he turns out to be this big baddie. So it's interesting. It was not what I expected coming out of the first issue, because they kind of just dove us into this new story, and but it's interesting. I'm very curious about it, and what his partner has found out on the Avengers database, which we don't see. I'm curious to see what she saw, because her eyes got wide after she looked Owlsley up.
I'm enjoying the series as far as I was worried when they moved Daredevil, it was going to be like having to start over a bit.
Yeah.
And like that nervousness of it. With this issue, I feel like Mark Waid has this character down, and no matter what happens with this character, no matter what he does with this character, it's going to be in a positive direction, or a definite readable direction. The Shroud is a new antagonist. I enjoy the origin. I just feel like Mark kind of copied a bit too much Batman, but this is like Batman gone wrong.
Yeah, I think because there's always been that comparison of Daredevil versus Batman, that it's kind of like it's an on the nose kind of little play to that, which I appreciated. I kind of thought that was kind of fun the way he was doing it. Because it's like you said, it's Batman gone wrong, so now it's Daredevil versus a rogue Batman, which is kind of interesting. Now, nobody's going to believe that the Shroud is on the level of a Batman.
I don't think he is.
No, I mean, and the interesting twist of him being blind was a pleasant, kind of surprise thing there, because
I was shocked.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah, it adds this whole other layer to him.
Absolutely, and he has radar sense though too. Did you notice that?
Yeah, much like Daredevil's. So it's kind of an equal match for him, which is it can be very interesting here. And you have to mention Chris Samney's art too. I mean, his art is just perfect for this book. They have created this whole new look, feel, vibe for Daredevil that just works on every level. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed it.
I definitely loved it. I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 or a 5 complete because it was really good. Yeah. One of my top books from Marvel this week, and then there was another book you actually had.
Yeah, Fantastic Four #3, which is kind of they're dealing with Johnny Storm has lost his powers, and they're still dealing with this threat of all these beings getting out of the negative zone somehow, and they don't know who let them out.
Franklin Zone, not the negative
zone. Franklin Zone, thank you. I knew it wasn't the negative zone. I can't remember.
The bomb was created through strands of the negative zone.
Yeah. So these creatures escaped, in the first couple issues, and, he's still trying to figure out what's going on. Fury's wanting answers and all this stuff, and meanwhile, Sue's taking the kids on an educational trip, which is interesting. You get the whole familial moment with them, and we catch up with Valeria, who is with Doctor Doom.
Yeah, we get to see her letter to her family, I should say, basically, finally.
And we get yet another tease of Namor longing for Sue Storm. But, this wasn't, for me personally, this issue wasn't as good as the first two, but it was still very good. It was just kind of getting us from point A to point B, I think. I don't know.
I need to know one thing. When you saw that last page, did you laugh?
Hold on. Last page.
The Frightful Four.
Oh yeah, because of the Carnage story. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I cracked up. I was like, really. But
apparently he's cured now. Don't forget, the Carnage symbiote cured him.
Right. Yeah. So, but it's also interesting that the Wrecking Crew, who get this, were in one of the first comics that I remember reading, which was an Iron Man book.
Right there.
Huh?
That's irony right there.
Yeah, exactly. But the Wrecking Crew are the new other members of the Frightful Four. Spoiler alert, but it's been out for over a week now, so. Yeah. But no, I enjoyed the issue. I think the art is fantastic still. I'm enjoying the story. This was kind of a more downtime issue than the last two, but I think we kind of needed that to get us to where things are going in the next issue. So
I don't think we need something that's going to be like go.
Right.
We need a little bit of relaxation here, there, and everywhere, so we don't just go right into Ben's in jail and Reed is going crazy and Johnny's gone downhill and poor Sue is all by herself.
Especially because it's the Fantastic Four and the whole premise is built on family.
Right.
So it's good to get those family moments here and there, like we got this one with Ben and Johnny walking together down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So
they are a very tight-knit family. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that Johnny will get his powers back by the time this arc is done, or by the time Original Sin is done and everything fixes itself in Fantastic Four. Yeah.
I mean, he did come back from the dead. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. If you can come back from the dead, shoot. You can come back from anything. Only other book that I have is Original Sin #0. It sets up for Original Sin. Original Sin is a twice-a-month miniseries. It comes out. It's going to be coming out the next 4 months, starting May. And this was the setup issue for it, written by Mark Waid, Jim Chung, art by Mark Morales, and Justin Ponsor. What did you think, Brant?
I I mean, I did a quick skim through, so I probably missed stuff. I thought it was very interesting, though. I mean, this whole issue kind of focused on Nova and the Watcher, and kind of.
I have to ask this before you go that far into it.
Okay.
Did you read what he asked the Avengers at the beginning of the book?
I skimmed it. You might have to refresh my memory.
Where he goes to the Avengers, why doesn't he act? Why does he only watch? Why does he this? Why does he that? And I love how Cap's like, never thought of those questions.
Yeah, there was actually. Huh? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm saying, and I was like, really?
Yeah, there was a couple of panels where it was just there was one where Iron Man's just looking at the reader like, and then there's that panel where Cap and Iron Man are kind of looking at each other like, oh, that's kind of a good question. Yeah, that was kind of funny. That is weird that nobody's questioned why he doesn't speak.
You mean the Watcher?
Yeah.
He talked before, but he hasn't spoken to anybody in the mainstream Marvel universe.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, just what you were talking about, like.
Oh yeah. So you can go ahead. I just want to mention that.
But no, I mean that was fun. I had the same reaction. I was like, you guys never really thought about this at all, really. But,
and you're like 75 plus years old. Good
yeah. But I mean, the whole thing is, Nova's trying to get answers out of the Watcher, and mainly about his dad, and he learns all these secrets. Kind of. I don't know how much we want to give away here.
Well, the one page I know that everybody showed was the page where Nova and the Watcher were in that gigantic room where it shows all the different universes, all the different possibilities.
Okay, I'm not even there yet. I was thinking about the other room.
Oh no, I skipped over that. I didn't want to give too much away.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Let's just say that the Watcher has a very, very valuable watchtower. And if anybody was to kill the Watcher, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. It could be very dangerous to move into the Watcher's.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
That's a big understatement, but I know what you mean now, at least.
Yeah, wow on that. I was like, okay. And as he was going through all that, yeah. Anyway.
Earth better pray he never goes to war with them if he somehow survives this whole thing.
He wouldn't even, they wouldn't even know it.
It was done before it began.
Exactly. But the interesting thing is we get, Nova gets a peek into the Watcher's history. And finds out why.
And so do we, though, which I
exactly.
think is really awesome that they're fleshing out, oh God, how do you pronounce his name?
Uatu.
Uatu?
Uatu. Or
Uatu.
It might be Uatu, I don't know.
Well, either way, and I've always been interested in Uatu. I wanted to know, why basically what Sam Alexander asked him. And it was interesting to see that his father wanted to act instead of just observe, and then his father kind of got proven wrong, and he's like, never again.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never do this again. And Uatu is trying to convince him, but Dad, you could do it, and he's like, never again. The end.
Yeah, and that's why they just observe. And that was that was really kind of powerful, especially if you followed the character at all through the years, and watched him and pop up in different events and stuff. And then that room that you talked about that everybody showed with all the various realities and everything, and Nova realizing exactly the weight that is on Uatu having to watch all this.
Yeah, he's like, how do you focus? And then basically the reason he's observing all these different times, spoiler alert here, is he's trying to find a time where his father was right. And unfortunately, he can't find it.
Right.
No, wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, words there.
Nicely done.
But I wasn't expecting to like this miniseries. I was expecting to drop it after this issue, but
really?
Yeah, I was going into this saying it's another Marvel event. I don't think this is going to work. This is, of course, before all the teasers and everything that we were just discussing. So I was like, I'm probably going to end up just not getting it. After reading this, I'm definitely getting the rest.
All they had to do for me was say Uatu. I'm a big fan of his from the What If series, and I was interested in seeing what happens with the character.
That's exactly what Michael's a huge fan of Uatu because of the What If series.
Yeah. So
I think this is going to be an interesting miniseries. Hopefully, it just doesn't erase itself like what they did with Infinity and not Infinity,
I was about to
Age of
say.
Ultron, Age of
Yeah.
Ultron, and I just hope it's not something that doesn't matter as much like in Infinity, where where's Inhuman or Inhuman? Yeah, no, where's the Inhuman title? We're going into May 7th already, and I haven't seen an issue 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it got pushed back 4 months to begin with because they changed the creative team, and now it's kind of late. I think the second issue is. So,
Yeah, it's late.
but it's supposed to come out next week, so we'll see.
Mm.
I think, or it might. I didn't see it on
I
the
don't.
list though.
No, wait a minute. No, I'm saying yes. I'm stupid. No, it's not listed for me at least.
That's weird. They must have pushed it back again.
Yeah, they did because I was on Marvel before. It's not there.
Yeah. Well, that's messed up. So I don't know. But yeah. We are seeing, remnants of Inhumanity throughout, though. Who was it?
Captain Miss Marvel. We see a lot of it.
Yeah, and also, I forget where I read it. I think in the All New Invaders series,
Of course, yeah.
they're gonna reveal that Toro, who was the sidekick of the original
Yep.
Human Torch, is going to be an Inhuman. So
I heard of that somewhere. Mike was telling me he read that.
yeah. So,
But
I mean, it's just not like in your face like everything else. So
exactly, but at the same time, I feel like I'm glad I didn't get Infinity because I feel like the ramifications are taking so long to get throughout the Marvel universe. It's like, whatever.
yeah, Infinity was just to get Inhumanity here, and I mean that's pretty much it. Avengers World loosely. as
Avengers
that-
World very loosely, and it's just a reason to make another Avenger title.
Yeah, I agree. So
That's all I got for Original Sin right now.
yeah, I am very hyped for it though. I'm excited about it.
We're getting issue 1. It's coming out next week. I'm hoping that we get the incentive that comes with it, but I have no clue.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'd love to get it because I'm a fan of little extras, and I like that they're doing an eyeball.
Yeah.
It's definitely something different, so I'm hoping to get at least one.
I'm still sad about Uatu dying though.
Maybe he'll come back before the end of the series. You never know.
Or maybe like the Ultimate Universe version, or something will come over.
It'll be a stump.
No, he was in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, Uatu? I'm
Well,
thinking it's the stump one that looked like a telephone.
No, isn't Uatu the one that what's his face talk to all the time?
Oh, Rick Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a stick that looked like a telephone pole that possessed people to talk to him.
And then again, though, if Uatu's watching multiple realities, then it is the same Uatu. So.
Yes, very true. It could be.
Which means he's dead everywhere.
That's great. So basically, he just has to die in the regular Marvel U, and then we're all even. That's how I feel when I read the big two now. There's no logic. If you go in without logic, you're fine. If you go in with logic, you're screwed.
Well, it is comic books and superheroes flying through the air. There's not really logic involved in that, but yeah, I get your point.
The business aspect, logic.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got for comics. Anything you'd like to mention before we jump into the rundown, Brant?
I don't think so. Just like we mentioned with the news segment, check out this week's Zone 4 for more on some of those. And we're going to be talking about a bunch of Star Wars stuff there, too. I could have done that at the end of the show. I don't know why I just did that here.
Oh, also, I would like to mention this here. I'll be talking about this more next week, but Saturday is Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
And that's a huge day for comic book fans. This is our holiday.
Yes.
We have our holiday once a year, and comic stores get a bunch of free
Most holidays are once a year. I'm sorry.
I meant as far as like...
I'm just giving you a hard time. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No. I know. I don't want to sound stupid though. I know that.
No. It's no, whatever.
Okay, good.
You didn't sound stupid. No.
Okay, good. And when I first started collecting comics, Free Comic Day, I remember going into the shop and it was like, oh yeah, it's Free Comic Day. I'm like, oh great, so let me just go on the wall and grab one of my suits. He's like, no, not any comic. Those
that would be awesome though.
Yeah, you don't know. I'll tell you the story in a minute.
Okay.
But it developed into when I started, it was like nothing comics. It was like Sonic and Power Rangers and stuff like that. Little comics, nothing really major. I think they did like a DC one, a Marvel one, nothing big. Out of nowhere, Free Comic Book Day became the biggest advertising holiday for comic readers out there. Bigger than conventions even. And I remember right before the shop I used to go to that was up the block, right before it shut down, the last 2 Free Comic Book Days that they had, I was working there. I didn't work for money. I worked to get the Free Comic Book Day books, and sometimes I would get something from the store. But wow, how many people came in and said, so I can pick any comic on the wall, and then we both would look at them and point down to the table and go, no, it's these comics over here. And then they would walk out going, oh, well, never mind. One person came in, grabbed an X-Men comic, waved it at Joe and said, Free Comic Book Day, and he said, whoa, come back. And no. That is not free. You have to pay for that. He's like, but Free Comic Book Day. He's like, yeah, those books right there. It says it. There's a big sign. But he was a little cranky, the shopkeeper. He was always like, you mean comic book? You mean comic book? But they never come in all year round. I'm like, be happy they're coming in now. Maybe they'll want to buy something else.
Exactly. I can imagine going in on Free Comic Book Day, and you know how some comic shops have like they're really expensive comics like up on the wall behind the counter.
Yep.
Just reaching over there and grabbing one of those things. I'll be grabbing Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
But over the past couple of years, it feels like Free Comic Book Day really evolved into a huge like thing. I mean, they're selling, for God's sakes, there's a shirt, Brant. Two weeks ago, there was a shirt on sale for Free Comic Book Day in May. It says Free Comic Book Day 2014 and everything.
Yeah. No, it's gotten big. I mean, it's so big that they do it twice a year now because they have the Halloween thing that they do also. Yes, they do have
Halloween thing. Yes, yeah. But a lot of the books for Free Comic Book Day are pretty. Those also evolved as well. I mean, for example, Mouse Guard, they're allocating certain books because it's a hardcover and they couldn't make enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Marvel and DC, they usually tie in whatever that summer's big event is now. They'll do like the 0 issue for that. Or Marvel sometimes they do like their little anthology of things coming up. And like it's a time where the smaller companies showcase their latest releases and stuff like that. So I mean, if you're looking to try new stuff, it's like a huge opportunity to get in on the ground floor or something, or sample something that you you weren't sure you wanted to spend your money on or whatever.
Just don't buy it on eBay for $50.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh my God! When I saw that, I almost flipped.
It's crazy. True story. Also, with the confusing what free comics there are. One Free Comic Book Day, I actually set up in a comic shop, and I had like wannabes and different stuff on the table with me that I was selling, and I had copies of Zombie Cop, the Image graphic novel I lettered. Sells for $10. I was selling them for $8 or something like that. Kid just walks over, doesn't even say anything, just grabs it off the table and is like halfway out the store before we call it.
Wow.
It was like, dude, no, that's not free.
But it's a comic book day.
He wasn't even going to say that. He didn't even look at me. He just kind of grabbed it as he was walking by.
Like, a free comic book? No, that's not free, Timmy.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I feel like for me, without a store now, it's like a race to get every single book because it's cutthroat, especially online. When the Free Comic Book Day books go on sale on Midtown, it's like the site last year froze.
Oh, last year was a nightmare.
It froze. I would love to go to a comic shop and get one of everything. Unfortunately, there's nothing around me, but it froze the website, and I ended up missing out on 2 or 3 books.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year they even messed up. And they had to re-release them, if you remember, a week later.
Yep.
Or a couple days later or something like that.
Because Midtown's thing, it showed up that they were there, and then they disappeared, and they said they were out of stock.
Yeah. And the one good thing, though, about getting them that way is that most comic shops limit you to a certain amount. Like, you can only get 3 or 4 or 5 different books.
Yep.
Whereas with Midtown, you can get every single one of them.
Yeah, just one per customer.
Yeah, and the shipping is very, very reasonable.
For Midtown, it's going to be it's going to be like $3. So,
exactly.
It's going to be free books, $3 each for the shipping. And that's it.
So you're getting like 20, 30 books for $3. And,
exactly.
And yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get that in the store. You're going to get about 5 books, usually, unless you know the store owner, or something. Who knows?
So I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be celebrating in the middle of next week instead of in the beginning of the week on Saturday because there's no way I'm going to get to a comic shop.
Yeah, and Midtown's not doing theirs till Monday this year.
Yeah, so there you go.
So we don't get to. I'm not really close to a comic shop either, so. I miss going to comic shops, though. They're fun.
Oh, don't even talk to me about it. I miss it. I missed it ever since the first day I had to order a digital comic book. Not digital, I mean through the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
It was fun. It was an experience. You know, a lot of people are like, well, you know, when you buy comics online, you get 25% off, you get 15% off, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You know what? Nothing changes the experience of a comic shop. I remember I used to walk in sometimes, and I was very close with the, not the person who owned it, the person who ran the store, who I thought owned it. And I found out through Free Comic Book Day that the person who runs the cash register and everything, he said, I thought you ran this place. I thought it was yours. He's like, I run it. I don't own it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew the owner of the one that I used to go to. And, you know, I see him at cons every once in a while and we talk and stuff, but I got a really good deal. I mean, they had a great deal. I think I had like a 15% off when I was getting a regular folder. So I mean, it's not that big a difference with the online stuff. Plus, you get the interaction, you get the experience, and all that stuff. And it's all. I miss it.
I don't think I got a discount, but like I said, anytime there was like an extra poster or something, I used to get it for free. He would hold stuff for me as long as I wanted, and he would trust me. It was an awesome experience. I miss it, but at the same time, there are downsides. He knew what my weakness was, and he tried to buy stuff from that genre to get me to buy it from him.
Wow.
So,
see, I never got that.
It got to a point where he actually special ordered stuff for me for Superman, and I actually had to stop him and say, listen, you can special order this stuff all you want. Starting right now, I'm not buying these because I didn't ask for them. I appreciate you thinking of me, but please stop. And actually after that he did, but that stuff he ordered was about $100, $200, and I'm like, I don't need this at this time. I don't have them. It was around the time where I just started working. I was like, I just started working. $200, that's a check.
Yeah, that's a little bit much. No, I never had that. You know, I've gone to several comic shops, but there was only 2 that I like really frequented. There was that one, and there was the one that Bob Hickey used to run, the guy behind Blue Line Pro. And when they had the big store, we used to all go there and hang out. And that's where I set up that one year I was talking about for Free Comic Book Day, and we'd have all kinds of events there. And it was fun. And you know, there the guys were really knowledgeable about all the comics, and you could have a big long discussion about this character, that character. And it's just, you know, that experience misses when you shop online or buy digitally. But you know, you do what you have to do, and sometimes it's, you know, there are advantages to every way, but yeah, if I could, I'd be at the comic shop.
And you know what? You just brought something up that I completely forgot to talk about with the news.
Mm-hmm.
Comixology was bought by Amazon, and the star rating for the app has gone from 5 stars down to 2. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now 1.5 stars. Why? because you can no longer buy your digital comics on your iPad, iPhone, or iPod. You have to actually go on the website on your computer and buy it. And then the app only works basically like an e-reader.
That doesn't surprise me because Apple and Amazon have problems anyway between each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that didn't really come as a surprise to me. I don't have an iPad, so it doesn't really affect me. So I can't really say, but
it doesn't affect me at all. I've always been physical copies come first, and number one, digital copies are whatever. The only digital copies I own are the free ones that I got from Marvel through the years. I own 0 free digital comics other than those.
See, there's merits for each. I think the advantages. I prefer print copies. I'll say that first and foremost. I like the tactile experience of holding a comic and that kind of thing. That's how I am. That's what I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't take your entire comic collection with you everywhere you go. Sometimes
a fair amount. You could take the week's worth.
You could. But it's a lot simpler if you have them just in one little simple thing that you carry. I get the appeal of that. I do. And you're not always near a comic shop. You can't always afford shipping costs and all that stuff. I think the price point on digital comics is way wrong for Marvel and DC. I don't think it should be the same as the print copy.
I agree. If it was cheaper, I think a lot more people would buy it, and I think even I would, when I want to test a book out, I would check it out there first.
Yeah, but as far as Amazon goes, I understand the problems with, people might have with not being able to, use the app and all that kind of stuff. I get that, but at the same time, I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective, like for smaller creators, because Comixology carries a lot of indie titles. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the reach of Amazon versus just Comixology, it could open up a whole new market and a whole new audience to all these titles that nobody knows about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the benefits I think I see from Amazon buying them. So I don't know. There's pluses and minuses to everything.
I agree. I don't think Amazon bought Comixology to destroy it.
Right.
I believe that it wants it to be the best it can be,
mm-hmm.
but I think they need to put the ordering back on the devices and at least let that don't take that away from the people.
I don't know. I mean, this is the early stages. I mean, they're still, finalizing everything, and there's going to be quirks and bugs and all that stuff, and I think it's way too early to start getting upset about it. But that's me.
All right, so with that, guys, we will now go into the rundown. This is where we're going to be talking about books that are going to be coming out next week, which is the first week of May 7, 2014.
I so want to put like the cartoon running sound when you say the rundown.
Go ahead if you want to edit that in there.
Oh, shoot.
The Flintstones running.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. That's what goes through my head every time you say it.
It does on me too. It's hilarious. It does.
It's funny.
But I'm going to start this week since last week Brant started.
Yes.
So we all have a fair turn for each company. This week from Dark Horse, Angel and Faith, Season 10, Issue number 2 is a definite for me. As well as Terminator Salvation Final Battle number 6. And that's it. What about you, Brant?
The Bell number 3. That's probably it for me from Dark Horse.
Gotcha. All right, the other books that are coming out from Dark Horse are Bad Blood number 5, Grindhouse Doors Open at Midnight number 8, Mike Avon Olming's The Victories Volume 2 number 11. Love when they add a million different things. Veil.
That's
Veil.
Just mentioned, yeah.
All right, Veil number 3, which Brant mentioned. Oh, there we go. No, these are books. Book. Oh, release of books. Oh, that's it. Star Wars Omnibus Dark Times Volume 2 is coming out this week also.
Cool.
Alright, so Brent, you want to do DC?
I do. All right. Batman Eternal, obviously, number 5. That's a variant. That's incentive. What else? Green Lantern, number 31. This is the first part of Uprising. Looking forward to that. New 52 Futures In, number 1. Really, really curious about that one too. And The Wake, number 8 from Vertigo. I think that's it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm looking forward to The Wake, as always, definitely. The New 52 Futures End, number 1, I agree. Wasn't there supposed to be Scribble Knots this week? I guess they skipped it. Earth 2, definitely. Did you say Detective Comics, Brant?
No.
You should be reading Detective Comics with Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul on it. It's really picked up a lot.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
But those
I think you told me that last week.
Yeah, I did. It's really good.
Cool. So those are yours?
Yep.
All right. Also coming out, Aquaman and the Others, number 2. Let me know if I missed anything, by the way. Green Arrow, number 31. Justice League 3000, number 6. The Movement, number 12. Is that the last issue?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Does it say final?
It does not. I was just wondering. I couldn't remember what issue it ended at, or what month it ends. Scooby-Doo Team Up, number 4. Swamp Thing, number 31, which I know you fell off of, but I've heard good things about. Teen Titans Annual, number 3. Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger, number 19. Vampire Diaries, number 5. Fairest, number 26. There's a lot of books. Hinterkind, number 7.
Vertigo let out a lot of books this week.
Yeah, and I believe the rest are trades and hardcovers.
Yes.
Cool.
I find it hilarious that they're re-releasing Watchmen again.
They're gonna milk that puppy dry, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh shoot.
Alright, so we're in Dynamite now, and out of Dynamite, I have nothing.
Maybe Chaos number 1, because it's like it's kind of bringing Chaos Comics back, which was in the 90s. That was kind of cool. And Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 4. That's it for me.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's go back to the top. My thing froze completely for a second there. I was like, what happened? Okay. Other books coming out from there are Black Bat 10. You said Chaos, right?
Right.
Okay, so, because there's a bunch of Chaos. There, guys, one thing I gotta say about Dynamite Brant, one thing I gotta say, they bring out so many variants.
Dude, it's insane. What is this, like 13 variants for this?
Well, there's cover A, B, C,
it's through M, yeah, so it's half the alphabet.
And then there's incentives. I'm surprised there's no risk. Ultra limited variant for Flash Gordon, number 1. That's 8. They went to K for that.
Jeez. Like 13 or 14 variants for these books. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
And you know, it was so hard. It's so hard doing a rundown because, like,
yeah.
So I apologize if I'm going to be asking you because I got to make sure now. Lone Ranger 24.
Oh, I missed this one.
Go ahead and say it then.
That's an incentive. It came out last week, I think. So never mind.
Which one are you talking about? The
Magnus, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Miss Fury number 10. I want to make sure that these aren't reprints. Only 50 copies in existence for Red Sonja number 8. I could pass. Red Sonja number 9. Miguel Simone. Is this a new? Nope, these are high-end. Come on, give me something that's new. And
I think that's
and you said Turo. That's it. Yeah. So now we go into IDW. Oh boy.
Man. All right, IDW.
Yeah, this is a very, very short week for me.
Yeah, nothing from IDW for me.
For me, I'm excited for the TMNT Color Classics. I'm enjoying the Classic Turtle comics. It's issue number 7, by the way. I'm enjoying them in color. I have them in black and white, so it's nice to have both versions.
Nice. Very cool.
Other than that, I'm done. Yeah, no, that's it for me.
All right, so also we have Black Dynamite number 2, Crow Pestilence number 3, Illegitimates number 5, Jin Rise number 10. You're not still reading that?
I didn't know it was an ongoing. They said it was a miniseries. I missed 2 issues. I figured I'd grab it in the trade, but now it's like, oh, it's an ongoing. Oh, well, that's great. Now I've got to fix myself.
I think at one point they were canceling it and then they brought it back or something. I don't remember.
People liked it.
Yeah. Max Maximize number 7.
I couldn't stand that book anymore because of the art.
I never did like the Max. Powerpuff Girls number 9. I know that's Chris's favorite book.
Oh, yeah.
Bubbles.
Bubbles!
Rocky and Bullwinkle number 3.
And now here's something we hope you'll really like.
What, Sinister Dexter? No. Sinister Dexter number 6. You said that, and the rest are trades. So there you go.
Yep.
Alright, so Image to you, my friend.
Image, I think I'm making sure, but I think I got nothing for Image this week.
Wow. Okay.
Nada for Image.
Aphrodite. Apocalypse Owl number 4. It's the last issue of the miniseries. I've really enjoyed that one, so I'm looking forward to that. And I would say Revival, but I'm far too behind. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it. So also we had that's you. What am I?
Yeah, the what? Where you going? What'd you do?
Go for it.
68 Rule of War number 2. Alex and Ada number 6. You said Apocalypse AI. Burn the Orphanage. Reign of Terror number 1. There's some really messed up titles out there. Clone 16. Fatal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, didn't interrupt. Clone, which is being adapted to sci-fi for a TV show. Just want to toss that out there since we mentioned it.
Interesting. It'll last for 2 seasons and then they cancel.
Yep.
Fatal number 22. Madam Frankenstein. Nail Biter. Nail Biter number 1. That is the creepiest cover, man. Rat Queen number 6. Real Heroes number 2. Revenge number 3, which I know you're getting, Brant.
No.
Oh. I gotta catch up on Revival myself. I'm looking at I gotta catch up to this. Satellite Sam number 8. There's apparently a Satellite Sam Tijuana edition. I had to bring that up. And then Spawn 243 and Aphrodite 9 number 10. Oh, and Cyberforce number 9.
Cool. So that brings us to Marvel.
Uh-huh.
Alright,
Look at that Alex Ross cover.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 1.1, definitely. Big Spider-Man fan, obviously that's one. Cyclops number 1, I'm going to check out.
I'm going to try it too, yeah.
Deadpool versus Carnage number 3, really looking forward to that. That's been good so far. Magneto number 3, surprisingly good as well for me.
What about Iron Fist?
I totally missed that. I don't know, I haven't read the first issue yet, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
New Warriors number 4. Original Sin number 1, definitely. Punisher number 5, which again, another series that continues to surprise me, really good. And I think that's it for me.
Okay. For me, Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 1.
Oh, I didn't even see that either.
But
Jeez.
there was one comic that they actually have signed. I dropped Moon Knight this week. You said New Warriors. I'm hoping to get the original Sin #1 incentive stuff. I think we basically had, we had the same ones. Some things I would like to mention from Marvel. Oh, well, Brant, you'll mention them from Marvel.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. Also, we have all new X Factor #7, which I do still enjoy. By the way, Black Widow #6. Let's see, Iron Fist Living Weapon #2. You kind of mentioned that. Loki, Agent of Asgard #4. Miracle Man #5. Moon Knight #3. You already mentioned that kind of. Savage Wolverine, excuse me, #18. She-Hulk. It's late. She-Hulk
It's late. No, I agree with you. I'm falling. I'm staying. Staying alive.
We're almost done. She-Hulk #4. And then in the trade selection, there's a couple of things if I can find them.
Under X.
Yeah, X-Men. Was it the Adamantium Collection? Was that the first one?
Yes.
Okay. X-Men: The Adamantium Collection hardcover is coming out, $170 price tag, by the way.
It's expensive, but the book is gigantic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's I was trying to see if it told how many pages, but I don't see it. But yeah, it is a big book. And also the X-Men No More Humans hardcover, which kind of like the Spider-Man Family Business one. It's so we can assume it's probably in continuity too.
Exactly, which is why I want to get it.
Yeah. So then a bunch of other trades and hardcovers.
Which then leads us into the final part, which are the indies.
Indies.
God is dead. I keep hearing big things.
He's not.
I know he's not.
I'm not going there.
Lived. But I don't know. I see Jay talking about it, and I hear Dan talking about it all the time. I'll probably look into it and trade. I forgot to to check the issue #1. So,
Gotcha.
Eventually, Garfield #25, definite huge issue for Garfield. The 6-Gun 40, I know Mike's been enjoying that. I think he actually skipped it. I'm not too sure. I have to find out. And then, of course, Barmaid #5 and Grim Fairy Tales #97.
I assume Barmaid's from Zenoscope.
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering because you said, of course.
And then, because it's by Pat Chan, of course, it's awesome. It's sold out on the shop we're looking at, but if I could get my hands on that Get Fuzzy Treasury Jerk-tastic Park trade paperback, I'd kill for it.
Okay.
I love Get Fuzzy. It was in the newspapers until recent, and then they kind of cut it off with just a Sunday strip.
Gotcha. Never heard of it.
What about you, Brant?
All right.
Heard of anything that's in the comic strip because it's in the New York newspaper?
I don't live in New York, so I don't know what's in the New York newspaper.
Fuzzy is.
Shoot. All right. I want to mention this. Damon Pen and Ink #1. It's a collection of oversized format collection of issues 1 and 2. Excuse me. With the artwork stripped down to the ink side by side with annotations. I really enjoyed the series from Boom, so that's interesting. It's expensive. It's $8.49, or $10, yeah. But it's one of those novelty items. 2
issues in 1, so you're paying $4 each.
Yeah, plus it's annotated, so
There you go.
It's worth the extra. Epic #1, which is from Comics Tribe. Yeah.
I was going to ask, do we know anybody on that? Because it looks so familiar. I was looking at it before.
Yeah, Tyler James is the writer. He used to do a column for Comic Related. And,
okay.
Yeah, and Epic did a crossover with Dynagirl.
That's where I saw it.
Yep.
Dynagirl.
Yeah, so good buddy Carrie Kelly. So yeah, it's a fantastic book. It's about a superhero. Real quick, if you don't mind.
Do it. Yeah, definitely.
It's about a superhero who loses. He's kind of like a Superman level kind of powers kind of thing. He loses his powers around hot women. So it's funny. It's interesting. So every time if he's trying to save a girl, he loses his powers and starts falling out of the air, so stuff like that. So it's fun. It's a good series. All right, WWE Superstars #4.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I know. It's an interesting. But you read the first issue. It was interesting. You
Yes.
got to admit it. Archer and Armstrong #20 from Valiant's fantastic series. I think that's it. Yep.
And I'm not running down that entire gigantic list.
No.
But
There's a bunch of books.
Yeah, there's a bunch of indie books. Check it out, midtowncomics.com. There are two things I want to make mention of. Son of Batman is coming out this week.
Yep, May 6th.
So, and there's another fiction book that I think is hilarious. It's called World According to Spider-Man by Insight Editions.
Nice. That's how I view my world, always.
Indeed.
According to Spider-Man.
Because you swing around all the time?
Sure, yes. No, because with great power comes great responsibility.
After Mike said that a million times, I got sick of hearing that. So that's it for the rundown, guys. So Brent, thank you so much for sticking with me for this episode. I really appreciate it, man. I apologize to everybody. Hopefully next week things will go back to a format where I'm not like literally drunk off of my head, like falling asleep and dying. But I don't apologize for having Brant on. I enjoy having Brant with me. We do a lot of amazing shows. We have a Hole of Toys coming up, I think, soon for May.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And hopefully Lisa will be back for that. You could look for... Oh, no. One other thing. Brant.
Mm-hmm.
Audible trial.
Yes, if you'd like to support this show and all these shows on the Zone 4 website, I'll say.
There you go.
You can do so...
Just the Zone 4 network.
I knew you were going to say it. You can do so by going to audibletrial.com/Zone4podcast, and you can get a free 30-day trial and a free book download. And when you go through that link, it does help all these shows. So if you want to support Chris, help Chris out, do it that way. Even if you don't stick on after the 30-day free trial, if you cancel it beyond that, it still helps out the show. And if you continue on with it, then, you know, more power to you. That's great. And you've got audio books to listen to. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there's over 150,000 titles. There's all kinds of genres. There's superhero books. There's Batman books. There's Superman books. There's Star Wars books. There's all kinds of things. Anything you could think of is on there. Classics, modern stuff, anything. So, yeah. And thank you.
There you go. Link will be in the description and show notes once again. Also, don't forget to check out Zone 4. It will be live tomorrow, because this is going up on Thursday, on YouTube and hopefully on zone4podcast.com. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything else. That's about it. I don't have a closing band, so I'm lucky. Oh, the weekend, just for those of you out there that are looking for a little update, this weekend, because of Free Comic Book Day being on Saturday, me and Brent will be doing the morning stream on Sunday morning.
Yep.
So just be aware of that. Hope you guys get everything you are aiming for Free Comic Book Day.
And if you get a chance, go out and see Amazing Spider-Man 2. It comes out this week.
And, well, before you do that, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4podcast.com. Together we are your number one source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Have a great week, guys, and we will see you, well, I will see you guys back here next week for another exciting episode of It's a Podcast. So I guess all we have left to do now is to cue the outro.
Join us next time for another episode of
It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's a Podcast.
Up in the sky, look!
This has been a Ventura production.